Hey everybody, and welcome back to Monster Hunter World Part 13. In this video we're going to be finishing up the main campaign mission. I'll give a few comments and thoughts on it, and then I'll cut away, let you guys watch the fight, and I will be back with the rest of my comments and thoughts on the game overall. Alright, so one thing that I wanted to say before I cut away is I had been looking for a room or some people to help me out with this mission for about 2 days, 3 hours over the course of 2 days, so an hour and a half each day. And I had just been, SOS flares and going into the mission firing room looking for missions that were already up and whatnot, and I couldn't find anything. And then I came across a room with a couple high-ranked people, and I figured, well, these guys are high-ranked, they must have finished the campaign already. I went in and I asked them specifically if they would help me do the mission, and they were more than willing to, and they stayed through the whole fight. We finished it, no one died, it was really good. So I just wanted to, show and explain that people in this game seem really friendly, which is nice. It's good to see a game where people want to help one another rather than just trolling and whatnot, at least from what I've seen so far. So I thought that was really cool. Anyway, I will cut away, let you guys watch the fight. I will try to have something where you can skip just to my thoughts at the end of the video. If not, just keep going through. And yeah, I will be back shortly.
is it with you? All you ever do is sleep and fall off things. So how awesome were you down there?
Stop
Too
being
awesome?
annoying. Yes.
Well, good morning. Thanks to you, the Research Commission's work is complete. I sent a ship ahead to report back to the Guild. They'll relieve us just as soon as they confirm our findings. Everyone, I commend you all for your valiant efforts here. And now, let us celebrate! To banquet!
Cheers! Well, we did it. You know, after we crash landed here, I started to wonder if I made the right choice. But the new world was all the adventure I wanted and more. Oh, she made it. I'm just gonna say hi. Come on.
May I? If not for you, I might not be alive. Thank you. You have quite the eccentric group here. But all of them talented, unique, driven. You all seem willful, your own mind. But when the time comes, you join together and become a force to be reckoned with. I suspect there is no trial you could not collectively overcome. A monster that's been incubating in bioenergy. Lurking so close, yet hiding so well. Perhaps it was what first drew the aging elders here, to satisfy its cravings for energy.
Could be right. Maybe it used some sort of pheromone or something. Eventually, the land became rich with nutrients. The perfect home for tough monsters. The energy smorgasbord must be why the elders inhabit the recess. Huh, you know, we're lucky you stopped that thing. Would have been a disaster if it left its nest. Well then, 3 cheers for you.
No. I think you should keep it.
Listen up, everyone. We've received word from the Guild. The Guild commends you for your dedicated research of the Elder Crossing. In light of your findings, we have confirmed the monster as a new species of Elder Dragon. An official name has been chosen. Xeno'jiiva. This concludes your duties with the Research Commission. We thank you again for your service. You are free to return home at your discretion. However, the Commission's presence in the New World still has potential to be of great benefit to the Guild. We would ask you to continue your work there, if you are so willing. There you have it. If we decide to stay and take on new research, there are bound to be trials ahead. Dangers. You don't want that, do you?
What are you talking about?
Get into my thoughts on the game. So where this has been my first Monster Hunter game in the series yet,
All right.
I thought, you know,
Commission.
the game overall was pretty good. There were some things that I would change, but one thing that I kind of wish I had have done was watched a few more of the cutscenes. I kind of skipped through a bunch of the dialogue ones, and mainly because you would have a little bit of dialogue, but then it was just all text reading. I'm not sure why they did that, but I'm not a developer, so I don't know. But if they had have done the cutscenes a little bit more where it was just them talking, or just let me read the whole thing rather than breaking it up between the character talking versus having to read, maybe would have invested me a little bit more into watching the cutscenes. But the end ones here that you'll see are really good. They're pretty funny, and I like them a lot. The gameplay overall is and was awesome. Very fluid. I haven't had any issues with it. There's tons and tons of stuff to the game, all kinds of different mechanics and things that go into one another, things that I'm still learning and figuring out that I had no idea you could do. One of those is in the video where I show that you can actually interact more with the Poogie, the pig thing at home base. You can interact with it more than I thought you could. And just that, there's so much more that you can do that I've been learning since playing the game. I've got about 110 hours into it so far, and I'm still going strong with it. There's lots I want to do, all kinds of different armor types and ways you can customize it. All the weapons that I've used so far feel really good, and I thought I would just end up sticking with the sword and shield for the whole game, but I actually switched from sword and shield to the insect glaive, the dual blades, and now I've been sticking a lot with the light bow gun that I'm really enjoying. I will have a current build video for you guys in the near future on what I'm using with that and why I'm using certain pieces. But yeah, overall the game is just great. Awesome introduction to the series as a new person into the Monster Hunter world. Yeah, and I've enjoyed every second of playing the game so far. A few things that I've had issues with. I know some people talk about the multiplayer aspect and how to join and how to do offline. Really, if you just look into a little bit, read, go through a couple of the menus, even starting out, you can understand it pretty quickly. I'm new to the whole franchise, and I picked up on it almost instantly. You just have to, look around a little bit. The one thing that I did have issues with was there's specific things that don't show themselves particularly well, and I had this issue a long time ago, years ago, with Morrowind, I think it was, one of the Elder Scrolls games. Yeah, Morrowind. It was on Xbox, the original, and just the way that it didn't clearly tell things, you wouldn't know if you weren't looking for specific details. And over the years, I've gotten better at that kind of stuff, and I've learned. And so figuring it out and, trying to work through those things, I've gotten quite a bit down so far, but learning a couple of the key mechanics of the game are not as clear as they should be, and that's about the only gripe I've had with the game.